Welcome to this new video where we're going to talk about drumroll, Forza Horizon 6. Yes, it's currently in the news. Every day, the developers post new teasers and short videos on social media. I'm not sure if this will continue until the game is released, but it's true that all week long, we've had a bunch of images showing different biomes, different areas of the map. And this time, we have a teaser that's really cool. I think it's my favorite among all the teasers that came out this week, because this one focuses on a mountainous area with snow, and we haven't seen snow in Forza for a long time. And because it gives a really unique atmosphere. Actually, it's really like a hiking in the snow vibe with hot chocolate and raclette. It's pretty great. So I'm going to show you this little teaser today, then I'll tell you a bit about everything there is to notice. As for the details, obviously if you notice other things we haven't talked about here, feel free to mention them in the comments. So let's get started analyzing this little teaser, which is very short and about which there's a bit less to say. I think compared to the previous ones, simply because here, the wow effect is really visual, as you'll see throughout this teaser. The visual quality of the snow is exceptional, especially in the very last shots of the teaser. That shot with the pine trees is incredible, in my opinion. We have a result that, even just visually, gives the impression of real snow depth. Of course, we'll see how it turns out in terms of gameplay in the game, but it's true that the return of snow is really nice. We haven't seen that since Forza Horizon 4, and honestly, in Forza Horizon 4, even though it was cool to have snow, there wasn't that feeling of really having a thick layer of snow, of truly having a mountain area. Compared to what we had back in the days of the Blizzard Mountain downloadable content for Forza Horizon 4, it was the first time we had snow in a Forza Horizon game, and it was truly exceptional. So, if you haven't played Forza Horizon 3, and you get the chance to try the Blizzard Mountain downloadable content, it was an absolute masterclass. And what awaits us in Horizon 6? In any case, this mountainous area really seems to be similar to what we had in Blizzard Mountain. So, I'm talking about this particular area because I think the area we have here is a specific zone. I don't think it's the regular map that's just been covered in snow by the winter season. I think this is really what the developers call the Alpine Zone. And that's where we're going to see a big difference compared to Horizon 4, because in Horizon 4, the snow covered the whole map for 1 week each month during the winter season. In Horizon 6, it won't happen like that. The developers explained that, indeed, the game will have a weather system, a season system that will reproduce as faithfully as possible, at least for a racing game, the Japanese climate. That means a fairly mild spring, with lots of flowers everywhere, an extremely hot summer, with maybe typhoons and big storms, a fall with extremely colorful vegetation, and a winter that's still quite cold. It's entirely possible that during winter in the game, there will be areas that normally aren't snowy but become snowy, because sometimes, for example, it snows in Tokyo. So maybe in winter, a good part of the map will be covered in snow, and maybe not every winter will be the same. What we know is that the season system here will also depend on altitude, so there will be an area that's permanently snowy. And I think that's the area being shown here. It's really the mountaintops where there will be more or less snow, depending. If it's summer, there will still be some small differences, but it will be an area where, even in summer, at high altitude, there will still be snow. I think they did that already for the sake of realism. Because, well, even just in France, if you go in spring or autumn in some mountains, there's still snow at the very top. But also because they wanted to cast a wide net with this Forza Horizon 6, and they wanted to satisfy everyone a little bit. That is, the main problem with snow is that it changes the driving in the game. And in Forza Horizon 4, even though the snow allowed for a completely redesigned map, really beautiful to look at, there were a lot of people who hated winter. Because, well, it was actually harder to drive. Because braking wasn't as good. Because turning wasn't as good. In short, you were slipping a little bit all the time. Well, it depended on the areas. There were some areas that were more or less cleared of snow. But let's say that overall, it made driving more difficult, and that wasn't necessarily to everyone's liking. I think that with this system in Horizon 6, where some areas will be permanently snowy and others maybe never will be, well, it allows everyone to be a little bit satisfied. Those who don't want snow, who want to keep the basic driving of the game, could still, even in winter, enjoy a map that won't be too snowy. In some areas, depending on altitude, you may be able to drive normally without added difficulty. And those who are really snow enthusiasts could enjoy it whenever they want, at any time, during any season. A snowy area, to take photos, or simply to drive in a different environment. I actually think that all the clips in this teaser weren't filmed during the same season. In some, you can clearly see the snow has melted, in others you see the water is completely normal. And in other shots you see lakes that are frozen. Some areas of the map might only be accessible in winter. In Horizon 4, the frozen lake let you reach the center and discover a barn find, as well as access an area you couldn't reach when it wasn't winter, because the lake wasn't frozen and you simply couldn't drive across it. So here, sometimes the lakes are frozen, sometimes they're not. We see the snowfall, which honestly looks beautiful. The shot, with that big hotel in the background, is pretty incredible. I actually saw some people on Reddit saying that it might be one of our houses. I don't think so, because when you look at the upstairs terrace, you see several NPCs. There's also another great area, the one with roads bordered by ice walls. It's going to be crazy, that's all there is to it. Another thing to note about this teaser is that I think the map is going to be pretty massive. At the start of the video, in both this and the last shot, we see what I believe is Mount Fuji in the background. The small bump on the left side of the mountain. I think that's what makes it recognizable, Mount Fuji, which is at that distance, when you see how far away it was. In the other teasers for the game, with different viewing angles, with the little bump that's not necessarily in the same place, it suggests that the map is going to be pretty huge. If we put side by side all the areas we've seen, it looks like something that's going to be pretty massive. So, of course, for now, it's going to be hard to give a number or have any really reliable information about that. But if we use Mount Fuji as a reference point, it's huge. Actually, what's waiting for us is going to be massive. And above all, it looks like the opposite of Horizon 5 in terms of how flat the map is. Here, there are elevation changes everywhere. Look at me in this shot and in the next one. The roads in the background, the mountains, the hills, and then roads that look pretty winding. Let's put it that way. It definitely looks like something else compared to the flat desert of Horizon 5. So, a very nice teaser in which we still have little nods to Japanese culture, with the little Moshi statue in front of the house, just to remind us that the game wants to respect everything that makes Japanese culture unique. For me, this is really my favorite teaser since the start of the Forza Horizon 6 promotion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Another little piece of information that doesn't come from the teaser, well, actually, another bit of news that announces some news. Actually, in fact, the developers, through their social media, announced that in the coming days, a lot of cars will be confirmed. We currently know of about 100 models in Forza Horizon 6, with 400 more to be revealed before release. Usually, the missing 400 are revealed, so there likely won't be any day one surprises. Except maybe one or two models, they've already started teasing new models. With the little clip we talked about yesterday featuring the 2020 R8, I think this week, they'll be focusing on the environments. I think that, well, in my opinion, next week or in the coming days, they'll focus on something else. Maybe customization, maybe even daily teasers with new cars. The communication is quite different from that of Forza Horizon 5, but I think it works really well, unlike Horizon 5. We used to have weekly live streams where the developers would focus on a particular part of the game. Now, I think it's just going to be little shorts, teasers like that on social media. There may be monthly or pre-release live streams to share more big updates about the game. I hope this short video keeps you excited for Horizon 6. If so, please like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch for future live streams, and use Twitch Prime to support my channel. We'll meet again tomorrow for the next video, and in a few days for the next live stream. Maybe the reveal. Who knows? More Horizon 6 news soon. See you later. Bye.